Imagine the year is 2030 and capitals of Europe, Germany, UK, France, Italy, Spain, all have Elon Musk and his 20-year-old goons ransacking the payment systems, treasury, pension systems, healthcare systems, and putting a more quote unquote efficient mechanism in play. Well, is that a theoretical situation or is it potentially the future unless Europe does something about what's currently happening with tech oligarchs? You could call this the silent invasion in 2030. Basically, uh, Elon Musk could systematically dismantle European governance by using social media to create false narratives. No shots would be fired, no tanks would be rolled out. It would just be an algorithmic conquest. So if you're thinking about the year 2030 and imagine how angry and upset and I guess remorseful people would feel about, couldn't we have done something about this? Well, you could, right? If you look at America, you can take a checklist of all the things that America has done to enable this. It's enabled corporations to influence politics by having unlimited uh, donations to politicians. Also, America has let income inequality go exponential, and currently, the most wealthy people have more revenue in terms of income inequality than even the monarchs in the Napoleonic era. And if you don't do something about it, Europe is next. There's currently a false narrative that's spreading that I've heard from many people in Europe that innovation occurs in America. And let's talk about that very briefly and just debunk it. What happens is America is a very large country. People come here for education. There's lots of opportunities. But if you look at small businesses where a lot of innovation occurs, there's less small business innovation and more monopoly and tech oligarchy, quote unquote, innovation. So monopoly companies are not broken up. If you look at some of the products that are produced, Windows is probably one of the classic examples. A very bad product. It's been a bad product since the 1980s. Linux is a superior product. It has over 90% global infrastructure share. It's free, but still people are being tricked into using a poor product because the monopoly of Microsoft. Likewise, if you look at social media platforms like Meta has essentially done nothing but create a hot or not website and then acquired competition like Instagram, WhatsApp, superior technologies built by superior engineers. They just acquired them, and they were allowed to do it by both Democratic and Republican administrations. So if you look at the anti-pattern here is for Europe to think that innovation is happening in America when it's just oligarchy is happening in America and monopoly ways of thinking. Also, if we look at the venture capital ecosystem, which is often heard of in Europe in positive terms, what is the real product that's being created from venture capital? Are these, bootstrapped founders in a garage creating innovations like maybe the origin story of Apple? Or is it that there's rent-seeking products that destroy humans at scale? So if we look at some of the products that have been created recently, like Uber destroys unionized taxis, also increases traffic. These are false improvements. Also, the price of Uber is much more expensive than just public transportation. If you go to Seattle, take the train, it's $3 to go to downtown. It's $80 with Uber, and it takes longer to walk to the Uber. If you look at things like Airbnb, it's just an illegal hotel. Sure, the people that have the property, they get benefit from it, but the negative externality of vacant properties that have been converted into illegal hotels causes mass homelessness, causes the destruction of cities because now the local residents can't live there. That's not innovation, that's exploitation. So really the forces in America that Europe should be careful of is income inequality, and you can solve that with massive wealth tax. Second is the lack of regulation, the idea that you have to let people be exploited and that's innovation, is just false, right? If you look at the Bay Area, you look at some of the things that they're saying from these VC firms, it's completely false. And you also look at the big tech companies being monopolies and acquiring other companies and creating poor products and decreasing the quality of the products like Google search over time. That's not a something to copy. It's something to be aware of that you want to avoid. And then finally, the culmination is in 2025, letting a tech oligarch essentially buy an election by donating millions and millions of dollars, doing a raffle, also then being an unelected official that ransacks the core components of American democracy, and Elon Musk. All these things absolutely not only could happen, but they seem to be on track to be happening because Elon Musk is targeting specific countries. So unless Europe does something to counteract this, I think in 2030, you should count on the fact that Elon Musk and a bunch of 20-year-old goons will be ransacking your European government. So what are you going to do about it? I think that's really the thing to consider. Is you have some time, take notes, take corrective actions, and I hope Europe really does get its act together and looks at America as a cautionary tale, not as something to follow.